Okay, hello and welcome to Explore YouScience. We're so excited to have you guys here today. If you're watching this recording, I encourage you to go ahead and pause real quick and go and grab a piece of paper. Any piece of paper will do, just as long as it is blank, and grab some sort of writing utensil that you can utilize for that. Colored pencils are encouraged, just so that you have some fun utensils, but really anything that you can write with. And so we'll go ahead and get started. So my name is Abby Betts. I'm the Senior Career Development Coordinator for the Office of Career and Professional Development. Some of my top talents are brainstormer, numerical detective, and idea contributor. And so if you've already taken YouScience, you might have seen some of these in your results. And so these words might seem familiar to you. If you have not, I encourage you to dive into your YouScience, finish up those brain games so that you can learn if we share some similar talents. A little bit about me is I'm also a former undeclared student. I came to WT totally lost, had no idea what to do, where to go. And I did seek out help through career counseling. And we had a different resource back then, which was useful for me at the time. But oh my gosh, I wish I could have had YouScience. It would have been so beneficial for me. And even now as an adult in a full-time career that I do love and that I enjoy every day, I still find the results from YouScience very beneficial for me. And so because of that, I have identified myself as a forever explorer. So no matter where you sit, I encourage you to take YouScience, to dive into those results because they can be beneficial to you wherever you are. So how do you figure it out? When it comes to career exploration, how do you figure that out? And so I would love to hear from our folks who are actually in our Zoom right now as we're recording this. If you guys want to hop into the chat or unmute and share some of your thoughts for how do you think that you can figure out your career exploration path? Now comes the awkward Zoom part.
You can take different classes.
Love it. Take different classes. That's a great idea.
Just see what you like and see what you don't like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see what you like, see what you don't like. Figure out, oh, maybe math is not for me.
You can talk to people in the career field that you're interested in to see if you might find other things about it that you do or don't like.
I love that. Talk to other people in the career field. That's great. Chat now. Informational interviews, internships, and job shadows. Those are all great ones. And we'll dive into those as well more later. So those are all really great ideas. I love it. Okay, and so yeah. I love internships. Steve Sellers says that, so be sure to come by and talk to Steve about internships. All right, so another way is just get curious, and all of those that were mentioned are ways that you can explore that curiosity. So talking to people, taking different classes, those are all ways that you can explore your curiosity. And so there are other ways to figure it out through career exploration. And so there is a whole department here to help you out with that. And that is our office, the Office of Career and Professional Development. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And some of the resources that we have to offer you include workshops, such as our resume interviewing, other career exploration workshops, as well as how to find an internship, and then our job search workshop. We also have all sorts of appointment options with our staff members. So job search help, resume reviewing, cover letter reviewing, career or strengths coaching, and interview prep. So many events our office puts on. Our biggest one is the Career Expo, where we will bring employers to you. They come on campus. They're here to talk to you. And so be sure to check out our various events, internship week, and a week dedicated to interns. And so check that out. And then our YouTube channel is fabulous. Our workshops are on demand and available. And so if you have found this workshop, you have probably seen our other workshops. So I really encourage you to check those out if you have not already. And just so you know that our appointments and workshops are available on Zoom and in person. So whether you are in New York or in Canyon, Texas, we are here to assist you. And of course, be sure to check out Handshake. That is where you're going to find so many resources, whether it's finding a job, setting up that appointment, or registering for an event and finding out what date that is. Be sure to check it out. So real quick, as we're getting started, just to go over the agenda, of course, we're going to talk about exploring you. We're going to do a bit of a YouScience introduction. So if you have not heard of that or have not taken it, you can kind of get an idea of what that is. We're going to learn how to explore your YouScience results. And then we're going to talk about then after that. And so there's this dysfunctional belief that I should know where I'm going. And so for our people that are here live, and if you're watching this recording, I'd encourage you to comment or just reflect with yourself. Raise your hand if you feel like you know where you're going. So our people here, if you want to comment in the chat, if you feel like you know where you're going. So far, I do not see any comments. Oh, I see one some days, but not the others. Before that's the only comment. I would definitely not be raising my hand. We gotta have a sometimes. Yeah, that is so true. So yeah, so if you feel like that you feel the pressure that you should know where you're going, I really encourage you to reframe that belief that I won't always know where I'm going, but I can always know whether I'm going in the right direction. And so knowing if you're on the right path, if you're, whether that's the right major for you, whether you're pursuing the right career and applying for the right jobs, just knowing whether you're in the right direction. And so with that, I would like to get to know the people who are here in our video live. I know that this will be a recording later, but there are some pretty awesome people who are attending today. And so I want to get your name and one hidden talent that you have. So feel free to share it in the chat or come off of mute and share it live. We have Sam, and she can do some decent impressions. Love that.
Abby, I'll go. I think mine is just that I'm a pretty good aim with most anything, a shotgun or a bow.
That's awesome. And that's Beth. I love that. I'm a terrible aim.
Abby, this is Steve, and I don't know if this is what you're looking for, but it may not be a talent anymore, but I used to be a good trombone player. So, but that's probably ancient history, but that's what I can think of as hidden talent.
I love it. That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's really cool, Steve. Very cool. Jennifer is still here. Jennifer's hidden talent is she can eat a whole pizza by herself. Awesome. And so thank you for sharing that. And so now we're going to dive into an activity. So if you have not grabbed a piece of paper yet, I encourage you to pause this video and go grab that piece of paper. And so we are going to do this activity called Mapping Your Possible Lives. Super exciting activity. I love this. It comes from the book You Majored in What? Mapping Your Path from Chaos to Career by Dr. Catherine Brooks. She's amazing. I love her. And so what you're going to do is using that blank piece of paper, get your fun color pencils, crayons, whatever, and in the center, write your name. And you can write your major, you can write your title, whatever you want to put, just write that underneath your name, and then draw a circle around that. And then we're going to brainstorm possible lives all over the paper. There's no order necessary. It can look like a crazy mess, whatever you want to do. I just want it to be everything you ever thought or dreamed about doing, whether it was when you were 5, when you were 15, whether it's right now, or whether it's what you want to be doing when you're 50. And then draw a circle around each idea and then draw a line back to your name so it's connected to you. And so here is just kind of an example. So for me, I'm Abby. I was undecided. And so some of the things I wanted to do, like secret agent, astronaut, journalist, photographer, those are some of the things that I wanted to do. And so here are your instructions. And we're going to go and start. And so you have 5 minutes. So you can just draw that on a piece of paper and let me know if you have any questions. Keep brainstorming, and it can just be all over the page. Go crazy. As many ideas as you can come up with. Have fun with it, and don't censor your ideas. Even if it seems wild and crazy, write it down. Even if it seems unrealistic, write it down. So just have fun with it. About halfway through, so keep brainstorming. Just write as much as you can think of. Thirty more seconds, so start wrapping up your ideas. All right, so now I would love to hear from a few of you, whether it's in the chat or if you want to unmute and share, what idea surprised you? If there was a job you wrote that you didn't expect but are interested in trying, and if at any point during this activity, if you felt stuck. And so if you want to type that in the chat or unmute and share your thoughts.
Abby, one that I've thought about and hadn't thought about since I was a kid was Miss America. I always loved to watch the Miss America pageants, but mostly I loved the Q&A sessions where they would ask them really tough questions and they would have to respond quickly to those questions with a good answer. Because I like communication, I think that's probably why I like that part.
I love that, Beth. Sam shared art curator. It seems interesting and something I enjoy, but I had not thought about that before. That's really cool.
Abby, one that came up for me this time that hasn't before has been like a counselor or maybe a consultant. And I kind of think I really like to solve problems for people or help people, maybe just customer service kind of stuff. So, but that one hadn't come up before, but that maybe that's why that one's coming up. It's just because I like to help others.
That makes sense. That's really cool. Thank you guys for sharing. I really like those. Okay, so now we are going to analyze and find themes. And so some you might see are, does it relate to being artistic or creative? Are you active or athletic? Serving or helping others? So like Steve talked about being a counselor. Is it based on talent? So Miss America, communication, also being able to walk across the stage in heels, because that would be something I would fail at. And so kind of thinking about those kinds of themes and relationships, but also the role or the setting. Are you often in charge or the center of attention? Are you performing? What skills are you using? And so we're going to take a few minutes to kind of look at that. And so I just wanted to show you an example. So here it involves science. So traveling nurse, you would have to do a science background for that, astronaut. And then related to hobbies, so journalist, novelist, that involves writing. So take about 2 minutes and kind of write down those themes and roles that you might see on your mind map or life map. "45 more seconds. So start wrapping those thoughts up and connecting those themes and roles. All right, so wrap up your final thoughts on that. Which lives would you like to pursue seriously? And so just kind of close your eyes and picture yourself in each role and think about what might it feel like to live in that life. If there's an obvious first choice for you, write number 1 next to this one. If there are 2 or 3 that you're considering, you could put a star next to those. If there are more than 3, maybe explore some creative ways that you can handle all of those choices, whether that's one at a time, all at one time, or maybe thinking about, could some ideas become hobbies instead of careers? And so here's kind of an example of that. So this traveling nurse, this doctor, this journalist, these jobs are dream jobs that would like to make changes to help people. Maybe like secret agent, photographer, astronaut, be a secret agent in space, taking pictures of the Russians or something like that, something crazy, or maybe not. But a photography, that could definitely be something on the side. Chef, maybe not necessarily as big, but that could also become a hobby, just something on the side, making more elaborate dinners, but not working in a restaurant. And so take 2.5 minutes and just kind of think about those. Write number 1 if you have a number 1 choice. Again, put stars if you have 2 or 3, and then think of creative ways you could explore others if you have more than 3. Right, one more minute left, so wrap up those ideas, get those creative ways jotted down so that you can explore multiple lives. Wrap up your final thoughts. And now we're going to share. So because the Zoom format, this is a little more difficult. So if you had a first choice, I'd love for you to put a 1 in the chat. If you had 2 or 3 you're considering, put a 2 or a 3 in the chat. And then if you had more than 3 that you want to pursue, you could just put more, you could put 5, whatever you want to do. And then I'd love to hear from a few of you about whether it's your first choice, if there were a few that you're considering, I'd love to hear about what those are. Sam said 3, Beth said 1. You had 1 as well. I'd love to hear from a few of y'all if are willing to share whether that was what your 1 was or what your 3 were. I'd love to learn more about what that was.
I mean, my 1 was a teacher, and working in the career office here, I think we get an opportunity to teach. It's in maybe in a different way and not like a traditional teacher, but that's kind of my number 1, and I love to work with students. And so anyway, that was my number 1.
That's awesome. I love that. And Sam shared career advisor, counselor, and financial advisor. So those are all great ones. They're also related to her current role, so that's really cool. Except for financial advisor, that one I didn't expect, so that's really awesome. Well, thank you both for sharing. Really appreciate that. And so now we're going to do a values activity. And so in the chat, I have shared a PDF. If you want to click that, it will also be on the slide in just a moment. So if you have the screen space and you want to open that, that will be helpful to you. So you'll either need to grab another blank piece of paper, not black, my apologies for that typo, or use the backside of your possible lives map for this next activity. And you're gonna read through all the cards and their descriptions, which is on the next slide. And then you're gonna narrow them down to a top 5. And then on your piece of paper, you're just gonna write down your top values and then add them to the chat when you are done. And so I will keep it on this slide in just a moment. Which that makes it difficult, so my timer's there. So anyway, I'll set a timer here and just keep the time updated for you guys. So let me get that timer ready for y'all. I didn't think that part. So 5 minutes, narrow it down to a top 5 and write those down either on your possible lives map on the back of the page or on a new page, and just read through these. You can also open the link in the chat, or it'll be at the bottom of this video. So that you can narrow this down. And so we're going to start the timer now. 3.5 minutes remaining. And just a reminder, once you have your top 5, if you want to just put those in the chat. For those watching this as a recording, of course, if you finish this quicker than we do, you're welcome to just fast forward to the next area. If we finish it quicker than you do, I encourage you to pause and just go ahead and finish the activity so that you can really get the most out of this activity as possible. Go ahead and wrap up your top 5. Those picked. All right, so hopefully you have your top 5 picked out. So now I just wanted to kind of discuss how the possible lives and the values line up. And so when you think about your values and how those line up with your life goals, it's important for them to really work well together. So looking at some of the examples that were sent in, so take Steve, so his are faith, family, growth, wisdom, and balance. And so those are really great with his desire to be a teacher. And so with family, you get summers off as a teacher, unless you work in college, of course. But he'll have that time to be with his family. And working in higher education, sometimes your role will be an 8 to 5 role. And there's that good balance and the opportunity to grow within your role. And so that really lines up well. But let's say Steve had money in his top 5 values. That might be a little bit more difficult for him to meet that values need with that possible lives map. And I'm not saying that either of those would need to go away, but he would need to find a way somewhere in his life elsewhere to meet the needs of both of those. So that might mean getting a job during the summer, or working the weekend somewhere, just, mowing lawns, something like that, so that he can ensure that his possible lives and his values, both of those needs are being met together. And so that's why it's important to know both of those and to know yourself well. And so now that we've completed both of those and we've started really exploring you in those aspects, it's time to explore YouScience. And so if you didn't know this, YouScience is an aptitude and career discovery. It's here to really help make well-informed decisions about education as well as career. And it gives hope, purpose, and direction. It connects your natural talents, so your aptitudes, with your skills and your knowledge. And it does this through brain games. So there's 11 of them. And so that's listed there on the screen, things like visual comparison speed, vocabulary. It also has an interest profiler. 10 of these games, you take them once and then you're done. The interest profiler, you can actually take it again down the line. You just message YouScience, because over time your interests are going to change. And so that can impact your results. It can impact kind of where different aspects of your life line up. And so this YouScience, this resource is so wonderful because it can really help you in such a crazy way. These brain games, you're going to be like, how in the world do you know my brain? Get out of my head. How did these games result in these results? And how do you know me so well? And so if you have not taken it, I really encourage you to take the time to take this. If you're a WT student, current or an alumni, and you don't know how to access your code to take this, just reach out to us, reach out to our office, and we can help you get set up for that. But all WT students from the fall of 2021 have been invited via email, and so it looks like this in your inbox. And so just search YouScience, all one word. And how it works is, like I said, it's just these fun brain games. And so this is an example of spatial visualization. It takes a piece of paper and it says, okay, if we folded it like this and punched a hole here, when we unfold it, where are the holes going to be? And so it tests like how is your brain at picturing things like this. And there's inductive reasoning, so which have something in common among these pictures. And then it tells you that you have some awesome career opportunities and some serious talent, because you are talented. I also wanted to say, just know that as you're going through these games, you're going to find some of them are more difficult. Some of them might be frustrating for you. And that's okay, because you can't be good at everything. If you're good at everything, how are you ever going to pick one career? And that's just normal. And so get through the ones that frustrate you, because they're going to be ones that you're really good at and that are going to be really fun for you. And that's how you're going to get the best results. If you find some that are really hard, that's okay. You don't want to be really good at something that's really hard, because you don't want careers that just say, hey, you should go do this career. Because so anyway, that's my quick spiel on that. But this is what your homepage will look like. Just FYI, this college section, it can be useful. And I'd be happy to explain that to you in a coaching appointment, but it is based on location. So if you are here at WT is going to be first, of course. So just if you need assistance with that area, just let us know. We can walk you through that. This is what it looks like when you click on your aptitudes. That pie chart at the top, that is what your top talents are. And so everyone has those sections. They just look a little different for everybody. And so this person is a numerical detective. And so then they have the opportunity to click this and explore that specific section, and they can do that for each section. I encourage you to do that and take time and dive into those. Same for this area. With this blended energizer and specialist, that dives in more into this area. And then this area down here is super cool, because if you're doing a group project and other people have taken YouScience, you can learn about, hey, what are my teammates good at? And so you can use this to kind of determine, okay, this person that's here, the extrovert specialist, they should be our speaker when it's time to present our project. This introvert specialist, they should probably be the one doing the research at the beginning. This blended liaison, they're the one who should probably be the one assigning the roles. That's usually what they're good at, and so on and so forth. So use this to help you build your team at the beginning. When you go into your career matches, there are different ways to filter your results. If you're like, I only want to do school for 4 years, filter it by this. 5 years and up, that'll go into those master's programs and on. Just know 4 years equals 15 or 30 credit hours per academic year. So however you want to break that up over 2 semesters, the long semesters and the summer, but you do have to get those 30 credit hours per year for that to be 4 years. But anyway, so this is how it's broken up. And then you can also filter it by the overall fit. So this is both aptitudes and interest. But if you were to filter it by aptitudes, it'd be what you're naturally good at. So mine, for example, my aptitudes are very sciencey. So it's a lot of engineering, it's a lot of computer science type stuff. And then my interests are actually a lot of people stuff. I like working with people. I like to help people. And so when you blend them together, you get to kind of see both aspects. But when you look at them separately, so if you're like, I really want to do a job where I know I'll be really good at it, look at the aptitudes. If you're like, I don't care about what I'm good at, I just want to enjoy it, look at the interests. And then you can dive into the careers and explore them. At the top, I don't think this is showing it in the screenshot. There is a way to look at different titles of it. So one job could have 50 different titles for it. And so it's important to explore that because when you're doing a job search, you might be missing out on other opportunities because the job you're looking for has different titles. And then just investment, openings for that job, that salary range. So if you saw that money was high in your values, this is going to be helpful for you. And then just that day in the life, so you can learn what exactly is this person doing every day. And then core tasks. So if you're applying for a job and their job description is super minimal, you can use build that resume. This is how your aptitudes line up with it. So you can see where you're really good at, where you're a good fit. Idea generation for this person is high, so they would need to find a fit elsewhere, like to get that idea generation elsewhere, playing brain games, doing other things that help them fuel that part of their life. And then you can see their Holland interest inventory, Holland code here, and see how that matches for them as well. In terms that describe you, so this section, you can actually remove them and work on adding those back later. So you can like, oh, I'm not really a numerical code breaker, remove it from this section, and then work to become a numerical code breaker and add it back later. And use this also to build your resume and for different areas of your resume. So now we're going to do another activity. And this one is called the majors menu. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to send you all another link so that you can have access to this PDF. Cross out majors you know you're not interested in pursuing. Circle ones if you don't know or don't understand what it entails. And then put a star next to the majors you're really interested in and you want to learn more about. And so the PDF I just sent y'all, that link will take you to this document. It has both of these pages. And so just depending on how your brain works, exact same content, just different format. And so click on that so you can utilize that to kind of go through this activity. We're going to take, I'm going to actually do 3 minutes instead of 5. And so I'll keep an eye on that. So when this says 2 minutes, we'll be done with this activity, but remove, circle, and star. And so go through that and do this portion. And for our friends that are watching online, I encourage you to spend the 5 minutes, pause the video, and go through the whole 5 minutes so that you can really spend time. And it might even take you longer to go through this. You might even print this out so that you have a physical copy to really go through doing that with. And just really spend time on that, especially if you don't know what major to pursue. That can really help you learn more about them. And then after you have done that activity, bring it to our office. Come to our office or go to advising services and schedule an appointment with an advisor to learn more about these majors. Like ones you're like, you know, the ones you circled, I am interested in this, I just don't know what it means. Or the ones you're like, I'm really interested in this, I think I would want to pursue this, but I'm just not committed because I would like to learn more about it. Schedule a career coaching appointment with us, or, you know, like I said, an advising appointment, use one of them, and we can walk through your majors menu with you and really help you to dive into that more. Right, one more minute. So remove, circle, and star. Okay, so we're gonna stop that activity. If there was a major that surprised you that maybe you either were surprised to have removed or surprised to have circled, I'd love for you to put that in the chat. You can just type that up real quick. And I'm gonna go to the next slide. So there are majors with early course sequences, and this is important because you need to choose it early because they have very few electives or limited opportunities to change. These include majors specifically like music, STEM, the pre-professional majors, so pre-med, dentistry, occupational therapy, pre-vet, and then animal science and social work. And so if you're interested in these and you have not declared these, I really encourage you to talk to an advisor as soon as possible so that you can be sure that you're on the right track and able to do that without getting on the wrong track. And so there's this dysfunctional belief that your degree determines your career. But a question out there for our folks. And if you are watching this recording, I want you to think about this before maybe pause and ponder. But what percentage of college grads do you think end up in a career that is directly related to their degree? So you can put it in the chat or you can unmute and just shout it out. 40%, 60%. And then one guest says 20%, 27% use their major. And so that is our winner. So this slide, 3/4 of all college grads don't end up in a career related to their majors. And yeah, the statistic says 27% only end up in a career directly related to their major. So that's not meant to scare you. It's not meant to devalue the major that you're in or to make you think, well, what am I doing here then? Because your major does have value. You're learning wonderful things, lots of great opportunities. And I mean, if you looked at our office, I have broadcast journalism and a master's of education. We have social work, we have ag and business. We have general studies with an emphasis in communication and English, and then theater, and then business, and then music. It's just all over the place, and that's okay. But many of us are using what we learned, we're just using it in a non-traditional sense, and that's okay. And so when you think about that, it's the engineers and the nurses and the doctors, you know, stuff like that. But your major has value. Don't change it because of what I just said. And if you do, don't tell them it was me, please. Just kidding. But it has a lot of value, and it brings a lot of worth. And so, yeah, but it's not just about the degree. So what's next? It's a lot. Follow your passion. The problem with this statement is that word passion is singular instead of plural. So in the chat, I want you to put if you have one passion and only one passion, like you only have one passion, that's all. Does anybody have only one passion? Getting crickets over here. So yeah, nobody has just one passion. I mean, I could probably list 27 things right now and 27 things on my mind, but we all have a lot of passions, plural. We're passionate about a lot of things. And so in our office, we like to say, pursue your purpose instead of pursue your passion. And so the reason we say that is because college graduates with a high purpose in work are almost 10 times more likely to have an overall good well-being. And high levels of purpose in work are strongly and significantly related to 4 key college experiences. And those include, and shout out to Steve, having an applied internship or job. So that means if you're in music therapy, have a job where you get to practice, or an internship where you do music therapy. An internship at a car dealership for a music therapist is not going to be beneficial. They're not going to learn much. It's not going to help them. For me, I was broadcast journalism, and I interned at a radio station, and it helped me so much because it really helped me realize I didn't want to be a radio DJ. And so that helped me realize that was not my purpose in life. Also, having someone who encourages students' goals and dreams, whether that's a mentor, a supervisor, a professor, someone who is just going to help you both set those goals and pursue them and achieve them, and realize they have value. Being given realistic expectations for post-graduation employment prospects. So the last statistic I saw was the average is about 6 months after you graduate. At the time of this recording, it is December. And so for my friends who are graduating in May, you should start applying now for your positions. So for a future position. And so it does take time. There are the people who are going to get a position 2 weeks after they graduate, or 2 days, or they have the position already lined up. And there are the people who it's going to take 2 years. But knowing that it does take time and it does take intentional purpose to find that position can help you in just finding that position where you find your purpose. And then class or program that helps students think about pursuing meaning in work, whether that's something like this or a program like Rogers CWT, where you are really having that meaningful conversation and stuff. Right. Use your resources. Of course, I would encourage you to use us. We are a resource. We're here to help you. But there are other tools that you can add to your toolbox, such as prototyping. So at the beginning of this, one of those resources for how you do career exploration was Job Shadow. So spend a day with someone in a career that interests you. So Job Shadow them. Conduct an informational interview. Have a conversation with someone, a career conversation with a professional to gain that insight and gather info about about their career. Our website has some great info about how to do that. And you can also schedule an appointment with us and we can help walk you through that. And then maybe someone who is doing what you want to do someday. That can be so impactful. They can guide you and encourage you and hold you accountable as you make the climb to your dream job. Coaching, of course, this is an opportunity to dive into your YouScience results, really learn more about what they mean, really understand how to really explore them to the best of your ability, and then answer your questions about choosing a major or planning the career of your dreams, and kind of outing those hidden biases, learning about what's holding you back, and whether you already have a major chosen or you're like, you know what, this is the career path I'm going on, having a career coaching appointment can help you so much, help you get connections that you need in your network, help you find out ways to further enhance, like I said, enhance your network. And then of course, into career exploration. If you don't know what major to do or what career to pursue, this is just such a great way to do that. Figuring out new ways to explore that, finding ways to do informational interviews or stuff like that. And then it's a reality check. If you're having a lot of negative thinking, it's someone to turn those into positive thinking, find new perspectives. If you're like, well, I'm not good at anything, it's someone who can help you see, yes, you are, you just have to find that value. And strengths coaching. So strengths don't match up with careers. Just because you have this strength doesn't mean you should do this career. And of course, use strengths on your resume. But avoid the Clifton terms. Like I wouldn't say activator on my resume. They're gonna be like, what the heck does that mean? But I could say eager to take initiative and get projects started. That's more understandable. And so I encourage you, if you haven't already, take the Clifton Strengths Assessment and then make an appointment for strengths-based career coaching to really learn more about what that is and how you can use that in your work. Because, for example, working the desk job at the DMV, like in that movie Zootopia, where the sloth is just like stamp That would drive me crazy. I would go insane. But knowing your strengths and knowing that about yourself, you can understand, yep, that's a job I don't want to do. I couldn't work a desk job. I need a job where I'm moving, stuff like that can be beneficial to you. The degree is only part of it. We talked about this earlier, but you're also gaining amazing marketable skills that employers are seeking. You're getting this through coursework, part-time jobs, through internships. Again, another plug for internships. Y'all do an internship through your campus involvement. So getting involved in those organizations, volunteer work, and then of course, group projects. Use your YouScience to make your team better. It's gonna be great. And then the National Association of Colleges and Employers has this NACE 8 marketable skills for career readiness. And so these are the top 8 marketable skills that employers are looking for. And so whether you're a freshman or a senior, I encourage you to look at this list and think, what do I have now and how can I make it better? What am I lacking and how can I add that to my toolbox? And so here are a few ways that you can gain these at WT. So of course we have the Skills That Pay Bills workshop. We do 2 different ones every semester, and there's a few opportunities to attend those. So I encourage you to attend those. There's just so many different ways, and these are just a few examples for you to do that. But like technology, use electives to take computer courses, or there's so many other ways to gain technology skills, but these are just a few examples. If you feel like you're lacking in those, I encourage you to strengthen those as soon as possible. And here's a crazy quote. The average worker currently holds 10 different jobs before age 40. If you were to tell that to like your grandparent or your great grandparent, they would just have a stroke or just be like, wait, what? Our generation and the generations below us are drastically different than the generations before us. They held a job until they died or until they retired at 70, you know, and so we're just taking different opportunities. This isn't to say if you don't like a job, just quit, but look for different opportunities, look for ways to design the job in a new way, to find ways to do it differently, but know that you're not tied down and that you can look for new opportunities. Just don't burn your bridges in the process. Let us know how we can help you and that kind of stuff, but don't feel like you're stuck in one job or that I got this major and so now I have to do this career and that's what I'm doing for the next 40 years. So some action steps. If you have not yet, take the YouScience assessment. That's number 1. If that's the only thing you leave with from here, that would make me so happy. Go take YouScience. Number 2, sign up for strengths or career coaching, or we have our YouScience exploration appointment option. Number 3, email 5 professionals in a field that interests you to try to set up informational interviews, and then complete at least 2 informational interviews with them. And then update your LinkedIn and connect with those professionals that you emailed and did the informational interviews with. And then here's just a graphic for what a career major exploration appointment looks like. We're not telling you what to choose for your major or your career path. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to help you find direction. We're here to help you look into your interests, and we're here to guide you through your aptitudes and interest assessments. Okay, with that, are there any questions for the folks who are here live? Of course, if you have questions for the recording, feel free to email us. Our email is at the bottom of this screen, or you can just put it in the YouTube comments. For those that are here live, please put any questions in the chat or come off of mute. All right, it looks like there are no questions. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Thank you guys for coming today. I really appreciate your attendance, and I hope that you feel encouraged, and I hope this lights a fire for you to explore you and explore YouScience.